Yes, good afternoon. Welcome once again to this edition of the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. As usual, it's a deep pleasure that Leonard Gildarie is joining you on this program. It's been so for several months now, and I'd rather not do anything but accept this because it's always been such a warm feeling connecting with our people in Guyana, wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing. It's always a good thing to be with you and sharing with you the news as well as your views. It is your show. It's a Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio. So whatever it is that you're doing today, I hope that you're protecting yourself and that you're doing whatever it takes, whatever is necessary to protect the loved ones around you. That includes your friends, your mom, your dad, your children, whoever it is around you, your workers. You have to. There's no other alternative. As we speak right now, our number of deaths in Guyana due to COVID-19 since March has reached an unprecedented 120, and we are over 4,000 cases in terms of confirmed cases since March, over 3,000 recovered. So we have some serious issues when it comes to COVID-19. It's not going to go away. So you need to ensure that as people in Guyana here, that we do our part, play our role. So let's get right down to it. Many things to talk about today. We're going to talk about JetBlue. We're going to talk about GRA. Remember, you would have been asking what happens to VAT, what happens to those other taxes and those measures as announced in the 2020 emergency budget that was passed by the government, with the new government that is in place right now. Well, I'm going to tell you what GRA has issued a statement, what it has said, and of course, we're going to bring you some details with regards to water situation, water was, and what one minister would have said. So it is October the 27th, 2020, and you're joining us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1. If you're joining us from Esquimalt and Demerara, it's 99.1 FM. And if you're in Berbice, it's 99.5 FM. If you don't want to tune in on those dial, you're overseas, of course, it's very easy. It's Kaieteur Radio on Facebook or Kaieteur Radio live stream, YouTube, and so many other ways. You could even go to Kaieteur News Online, our website for Kaieteur newspaper there, and there's an icon there. You click it and you could be able to hear the radio as well. Tune in, it's live. So let's wake up Guyana right now. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie. We head straight into our newspaper here, Guyana's favorite newspaper, Guyana's largest selling daily newspaper, Kaieteur News. And this is what the headlines in the October the 27th, 2020, Tuesday edition of the Kaieteur newspaper is saying: fired anti-narcotics official, woman hauled off of flight. And this is an interesting story. This guy here, it seems to be an American citizen that was working out of one of the local embassies here. Let go, was hired by the previous government as the deputy head under the former Army Chief Mike Atterley at the National Narcotic Agency, NANA. This agency was in charge of the police narcotic branch, as well as CANU, Customs Anti-Narcotic Unit. Those are the two premier agencies fighting the drug trade that we have in Guyana. And so he went on a flight scheduled with a woman said to be his girlfriend or somebody very close to him over the weekend, and it looked as if they were blacklisted. He was set to go fly out of the country, and he was stopped there. His name is Mr. Leon Carr, and he was stopped there at the airport and told that he was blacklisted. He cannot leave. The reason being that he owes GRA a lot of money. That's not the story. Everybody owes GRA something or the other. The story is while working at NANA there as a deputy head, he would have opened a security company, got security contracts, did not pay those taxes. Taxes are set to amount to almost $30 million. Collected those revenues. His company, I think it's OPSEC security company or OPSEC International, had contracts reportedly with Russell and a couple of other mining outfits. And there it was that he collected his money and did not pay GRA. So GRA decided to clamp down They blocked him from leaving the airport. They blacklisted him. So that's a very serious story. The freezing of Guyana series, big story here in Kaieteur newspaper today. And this is what the headline says: Kaieteur block owners flip block without doing any work. So they received it, and they would. This is a very serious story. It's showing these people here were deemed eligible to receive a block. While receive a block right next to the Kaieteur, right next to the Stabroek block there, and you know the Stabroek block. It is a block that Exxon and its partner CNOOC, as well as Hess, are operating right now. They're producing oil in the first phase that has a maximum capacity of 120,000 barrels per day. Right next to that, there are two blocks, one by the name of Kanji, another one by the name of Kaieteur. And so days before the 2015 elections, these two blocks were given out to persons that had little or did very little work. And there's some questions as to why knowing, or why would you want to give out these things here to persons that probably didn't have a lot of knowledge. One of the principals was said to be a Guyanese man, a miner that had very little experience in the oil industry. So here's a story coming out now. That several persons, that there's a front page, 5 photos of the players within it, and they're all coming again, and they flip the block, the Kaieteur block, without doing any kind of work, collecting millions of dollars reportedly from Exxon and others. So Exxon, in essence, in addition to controlling that Stabroek block where they're producing, now have control or have stakes in the Kaieteur block next door, in the Kanji block not too far away, and they also have stakes in Suriname. So they control Suriname, Guyana, almost all the big ones there, and the Venezuela is right next door. So you can imagine what this really means. And there's a lot of oil there, high quality oil. Guyana has high quality oil. So this is a big story. The details that are emerging here: Guyanese Ryan Pereira, Canadian Mike Coward, Israeli Yair Ritlevy, Israeli Yigel Landor, I think it is, Israeli Ligad Ritlevy. I hope I pronounced it right there. And so let's pay attention. We are going to continue to pay attention to this story here. Kaieteur News is making it very clear. Must get a good deal for the Guyanese people. So it's also sending a very clear message to the Guyanese people. It does not matter whoever is in government. The feet of the government will be held to the fire to make sure that there's transparency and accountability there. So City Council divided over hiring of new town clerk orders. Big fighting continued at City Council. In the meantime, I'm seeing a story somewhere. They collect billions of dollars, and yet they still continue to be broke. The story with City Council, which I hope that you guys, in a very short while, we are going to have a discussion. Because you cannot continue to pay monies into City Council, which does very little work, and then there are questions over the contracts that they're giving out, and then you see a city that is this dirty. Yesterday we did talk about persons going on the seawall after persons cleaning it, and they're doing the jandy and whatever it is that they're doing out there. And now I have Hindu family and relatives, even well, right within my family, practicing Hindus, and I have all respect for them. But when you are disrespecting others' work and destroying the beauty of our reserves and so on by our dirtiness, our inability to leave our surroundings clean, I have a big issue with you and that. So we're going to come back and have a chat with that. Miner found murdered at the drinking spot. 40 companies expressed interest for the construction of the new Demerara Harbour Bridge, and this is coming from Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel. So interesting story there. So 40 companies. So the hype is being heated up right now. It's taken new context in terms of the persons, the companies who are interested in constructing for us a new Demerara Harbour Bridge, and this new Demerara Harbour Bridge is going to be a overhead one across the river that allows both big boats to pass on it very comfortable without any need for a retraction. So this is either going to be a very big concrete structure that, or whatever it is that they're going to have there, that straddles the water, that allow the ship to pass under without touching or anything. So this is going to be interesting. How much will it cost? I know that an initial estimate is going to be a couple $100 million US right there. It's a big project. It will probably be one of Guyana's biggest on land project when it starts. In addition to anything else that's going to come, the oil to gas project from the Stabroek block to land to bring the gas on shore would be another major one. So there's another story here: conflict between EPA and petroleum laws potentially disastrous. Guyana must fast track law reform, and the IEDB is warning Guyana to do that because when you look at the laws that we have here and you look at the petroleum laws, they're not in conflict, they're in disharmony. I think one word was used to describe it. So we have to pay very close attention to that. So there's some other things. Let's look quickly at the newspaper here. Conflict between EPA. Well, yes, $2 million for government, barely enough to offset council's expense. I think the city mayor got it all wrong. You Brad Ryan here. You guys got to learn to collect those taxes from our city people. We know we had a pandemic, and of course you got to flex. But over the years, there's a big bunch, or there's a big block of businessmen who are paying little or next to no taxes, rates and taxes to our city council. Yet they demand that the city council find the resources to clean the city and to deliver the necessary services. So the city council need to get its act together. $2 million from government. Why is the government giving any subsidy when you're supposed to be collecting your taxes? And you need to look at the contracts. So lots of corruption in that area there. So we have to continue to pay attention to that. In the meantime, WHO chief warns against vaccine nationalism in Story as we continue to pay to COVID-19 there. Let me see. The curfew causing men for drink rum on road corner. Them boys says always. $34 million per month for Giftland to supply electricity to national grid. Interesting story. Finally, we have a local supplier of electricity other than GPL. I think I would like to see more of that as companies have big engines. They should pay attention. The Haitians Association aims to contribute to Guyana development. I must read this one here. It impacts all of us. To accelerate its first anniversary, September 29, 2020, the Association of Haitian Nationals opted to support the children at Joshua House during a virtual celebration on Sunday, October the 4th. The association took stock of its achievement and reform, its commitment to help the Haitian community reach its full potential and contribute significantly to the development of Guyana. Since its launching, the association has offered the Haitian Nationals a forum where they can share the concerns, seek support, and export training. And so that's an interesting story. There was a time when people were fleeing Guyana. Now there's a time people are coming here. There's even an association being formed. And of course, yesterday it was 18 persons sworn in by the president here, finale, at the convention center there, and these are the regional chairpersons as well as the vice chair. One woman among the vice chair, among the chairpersons there, region 2. The rest of them are men, but it was an interesting thing. Let's get to work. And the president has said, elections is over, time to lead, and I kind of like that. Put politics aside and benefit for all Guyana. Dr. Gobinganga is new Gold Board chair. With regards to that big murder investigations in Region 5, you can remember the two Henry boys, the cousins that were killed, as well as Harris Singh. The police said to do some additional work. The RSS reporter recommends that. So we come down as I think it is Guyana is getting ready to also pay attention to, or what is happening with the U.S. within a couple of days. There's going to be elections in the United States. So we're going to think with us within a matter of days. I think it's November the 4th there. So appeal court to hear case of man convicted of murder. So let's close that. That is the Kaieteur newspaper. Get your copy as always. They say it as it is, without any kind of restriction, without putting any kind of fluff onto the story. That's what the story says there. In the meantime, let me see what it is that I have for you also here. Yes. Okay. So today, I think a number of persons would have been calling us here on Kaieteur Radio on the Wake Up Guyana show and asking us $25,000 household grant distribution. What I can tell you, the government of Guyana has announced that it is in Region 2. And for the folks down in Region 2 there, this is the areas there between Supernam to the Pomeroon area there, all back to the Wayaka area, and Regina, you go back to the Lake Mains area there. And this is what it says. The distribution exercise has started or is about to kick off in the Jacklow, Dredge Creek to Suriki, New Road and Charity, Plantation Phillips to Westbury, Land of Plenty to Bushlot, Columbia to Fiance, Colin to Perseverance, and Pomona to Use Duran, I think it is. I hope I'm pronouncing it right there. Okay, so let me go back there to the areas that they're targeting for the distribution of the $25,000 cash household grant distribution exercise. Jacklow, Dredge Creek to Suriki, New Road and Charity, Plantation Phillips to Westbury, Land of Plenty to Bushlot, to Columbia to Fiance, Colin to Perseverance, Pomona to Use Duran. And officers will visit each home to verify and make payments. The residents are asked to have the national ID card ready at hand, effective Tuesday, October 27th, today's date. So we should see some work there. As I get these information, I'm going to bring it out and share it with you folks. So just bear with us as we go forward, as we continue bringing our details there. Okay, somebody would have been able, when it comes to the airport, and if you want some clarification, if you're coming down to Guyana, this is what it says. Remember, they talk about the 72 hours with regards to the test. That I think is the PCR test that you have to take in the U.S. or wherever you are before you're allowed to board the test, before you're able to board the flight to Guyana. It says, one person says they would have been able to confirm that with the airport and the COVID-19 task force authorities that the 72 hours are calculated from the date and time of your test to the time of your boarding the aircraft. So it's a time for when the test has been conducted, to the time when you board the airport, to the aircraft. Now, the issue is a lot of people are saying that you don't normally, it's very difficult to get back your test within 72 hours. So that's a challenge that many are fighting for. All over the world, the same problem that they're having. Somebody called yesterday and complained about Williamsburg with the water situation there. I did send it to Minister Colin Crowell. He says that, yes, indeed, there's a motor that was burnt on Friday. This is Williamsburg, Quarantine Coast, East Babies there, Region 6. It was fixed last night, increased pressure from today. Persons receiving at a standpipe level. It is incorrect that for several weeks now it was down. It's only, this happened on Friday, the minister's saying. Right about now, Gangram, I think this is in the Iskanji area there. They were complaining about water problem there. The minister is also saying this is not part of the GWI system, but part of Gaisuko system. So you guys need to reach out to Gaisuko and see if there's anything they could do here. Well, there's another big news that I should be telling you today here. I think, let me see. Yes, JetBlue. If you live in America, low-cost airline, low-cost fare airline, JetBlue. I think most Americans would know about it because they would have benefited from it over time. They are supposed to be starting on December the 11th, flying the Guyana route. So let me see what is it that they say here. And this is according to a report. JetBlue today announced a revised launch timeline for non-stop service between New York's JFK International Airport and Georgetown Cheddi-Jagan International Airport. Flights will initially operate up to 4 times weekly on JetBlue's new Airbus 321 Neo aircraft beginning December 11, with seats available the purchase starting today. JetBlue is a leading airline in Latin America and the Caribbean, and we remain committed to expanding our route map to Guyana as demand returns and border restrictions ease across the region, says Andrea Lusso, Vice President, Route Planning. Guyana Service introduces a diverse and on the served destination to JetBlue route map, and a very important one for New York City. Our non-stop flight will benefit a variety of travelers, especially those visiting friends and relatives, and provide our industry-leading experience to travel this holiday season. And so, flights, I think, let me see if there's anything here that it says about thing. Uh, uh, the JetBlue Neo aircraft will feature the Collins Meridian seat, which is the widest seat available. Let me see if they say anything about price. They didn't say anything with price here. So I'm going to try to get you more information. So that's big news there. If you're now joining us, it is the Wake Up Guyana show, and we've come to where it is that we will be in a very short while. Break for some ads and then come back. 6222222. Start sending those messages. We need to read it. We need to get through to everybody. A lot of folks that have been calling me off here, talking about this problem and that problem, and so it is what we do here. It's a Wake Up Guyana show. It is your voice. It's our voice. Together we can make it happen. At least that is what I was told. And I want to say good day to our good folks in the studio here. They've been working very, very hard to bring you. Now, it's 120 deaths today. It's an 82-year-old male would have died at a city hospital or a hospital within the Region 4 area. And so it is becoming very clear now that our elderly folks are not surviving this COVID-19 pandemic that's Guyana. And as soon as you get it, so it closes you off right there and then. And this is a very harsh thing to say, but it is what it is. So in the meantime, you tune into the Wake Up Guyana show 99.1 if you want to get us from Esquibo and Demerara. And if you're in Berbice, it is 99.5. We're coming to you live also here on Facebook and also on YouTube. Kaieteur radio live stream on YouTube. So we're coming down to the month end. It's October month end here also. Payday for a lot of people. For some people, for some public servants, there were some delays in the salary. I understand that's near to be rectified, if not already rectified. So we are going to be reading some messages before we get back and then come back and open those lines. I've spoken enough. I think you guys have to be there. Good afternoon. My name is Lloyd. I'd like to make a complaint about the people selling the pavement in front of the stadium gate, and people have to walk on the road. Yes, the police need to take action, because when they do that, you know, you're taking over. I'm not sure how to do that. Right along the East Bank there, I have a serious problem. I think almost when, you know, this thing has nothing to do with people having a living. I could decide tomorrow morning, and let me be very clear. I could decide tomorrow morning to pick up myself and go in front of sell coffee in front of a coffee shop in Georgetown. Let's say Oasis Cafe, and sell two burgers and whatever else it is. And I'm setting up shop right on the reserve in front of him. Is that okay? You can't do that. There are rules and there are regulations. Many persons, if you want to build a shop at your location, if you have a home, if you're fortunate to have a home, and you have to go through a lot of hoops. You would have to make an application. You'd have to get somebody to draw up a plan, and then you'd have to drop it in by the NDC or by the town council, and then it goes through the CHMP, Central Housing Planning Authority. A whole bunch of stuff right along these bank. Almost every village that I see now, there's trucks parked at the corner of the road, some up on the pavement. Even at Vreeden Hoop, right at the junction there, one person was so blatant that have taken over the whole pavement where people walk in to build a snacket. That's what we do into this country. Next thing you know, we're going to set up shop in front of the president's office or the police and tell the police you don't have any job to get there. You can't do anything because I have a right to do that. You know what we set in there? What example we set in there? What precedents that we set in? We're going to wake up one morning and not have any law and order in this beautiful land of ours. Squatting does that. I'm not saying that people don't have a need. They have a need. And I blame CHMPA over the years for not doing enough. They should be doing enough. But there's a story behind that. CHMPA, I used to blame them a lot, like GT&D. Then it was explained. There was a time with when Guyana was coming out, when it was paying off its debts early in the 90s, and they had very little money. You had to choose very carefully what do you do. So Diamond people, a lot of people, when they started the Diamond New Housing Scheme there in the Grove Housing Scheme, people just move into the area and start squatting. So the government stepped in and started regularizing, putting roads, and then they start issuing house lots. There were house lots being issued without roads being built because Guyana Simple did not have the money. CHMPA did not have the money at that point in time. Fast forward, many schemes were open, like Parfait Harmony, Tushen, and CI, and the other places that were open. Slowly, the government started getting money for that. In many cases, because of the cost for the infrastructure, road, bridges, standpipes, whatever it is that you put into place, it was being subsidized because the costs of what people were paying, it just could not do to pay the contractor and get all those fittings into place. At the end of the day, looking forward to where we are now, it is not. I think we're in a far better position. But does it mean that we could go on squatting? That we could do things because we have a need? I have a need to. What do the Gildarie do? Do I go break the laws for that? Now there's going to be a lot of people who are going to maybe disagree. They're going to say that that's not the way. We're being very too cold. But the reality is, the rule of law is very, very important in this wonderful country of ours. We cannot take for granted how important it is. You cannot do that in any other country. If you can't do that in another country, why are you doing it here? Why are you throwing your garbage? Why are you going on the seawall, throw your garbage all over the place after such hard work from our hard-working people there, and they're getting it fixed. So it is time. It is the insurance time. It is time for the CARICOM General Insurance Company. And let me tell you, it's a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo today covered with us. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Streets. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. So we take a break now. When we back, it is right on to our lines, 226-7453. Start sending us those texts to 6222222. We want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. The Wake Up Guyana show want to hear from you.
The government of Guyana has begun the rollout of the COVID-19 $25,000 household cash grant. Citizens are being advised that there is no pre-registration requirement. Clearly identified distribution clerks under the supervision of the Ministry of Finance will visit the respective households to verify credentials. Following this exercise, distribution will be done on a house-to-house basis. In cases where there are multiple households in one home, only the principal householder will receive the cash grant in the first instance. However, the other householders will be required to provide their information on a pink form, and following verification, they will receive the cash grant. The $25,000 household cash grant is in keeping with the government's promise to provide economic relief during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes, welcome back to the Wake Up Guyana show, and it's right. Let's get right down into it. It's a lot of things to talk about today, but the first thing, let me read to you GRA before we go to the lines, and this is going to be a lot of people would have been asking information on the amendments of the tax laws. You recall a few weeks back that there was a passage in the National Assembly, and then it was assented to by the president, emergency measures by the emergency budget by the government in order to jumpstart the economy. And there was a couple of things, a couple of decisions taken by the government, and so they amended the tax laws, dropping of the cost of license, removal of VAT on electricity and exports and so on. So let me put out this statement here to you, what was issued by the Guyana Revenue Authority today, and I'm going to read it. It's going to be important that you pay attention because it has to do with all Guyana. So the Guyana Revenue Authority, being aware of some confusion in the public domain surrounding the tax measures outlined in the 2020 national budget and the effective dates of implementation, would like to provide guidance regarding the said measures signed into law by the President, Dr. Irfan Ali. And so they're talking about the effective dates of implementation when it becomes effective. The effective dates of the measures are as follows: corporation tax exemption for private medical and private educational institution effective January the 1st, 2020. So that's retroactive to January the 1st, 2020. So that's a corporation tax exemption for private medical and private education institution. This is private schools and private hospitals. Increase in the mortgage limits of to 30 million for mortgage interest relief, MIR, eligibility. This effective January the 1st, 2020. So if you have a big mortgage at the bank and you believe that you should get some relief off of it, it is effective since the beginning of this year, retroactive to that. So you could be able to apply for that. Talk to GRA, talk to your mortgage financer, whether it's banks or whether it's NBS. New reduced license fee for motor vehicles and traders effective October the 1st, 2020. Removal of the restriction of vehicles 8 years and older, half-cut vehicles and used tires effective October the 1st, 2020. Removal of VAT on the following: electricity and water effective April the 1st, 2020. Exports. So electricity and water is April the 1st, 2020. That means retroactive to that. You could apply. Let's see how that's been reflected. I hope that GPL and GWI start doing that. Exports effective October the 1st, 2020. Medical supplies. And so the removal of VAT on medical supplies effective October the 1st, 2020. Exports is effective October the 1st, 2020. Key inputs into the poultry industry, the removal of VAT for that is effective October the 1st, 2020 as well. The removal of VAT for hinterland travel, October the 1st, 2020. Local produced sand, stones, concrete blocks, plywood, logs, and lumber effective. The removal of VAT is effective October the 1st, 2020, and not January the 1st, 2021, as erroneously reported in the press. That's what GR is saying. So, capital equipment and machinery used in mining, forestry, agriculture, construction, and manufacturing industry effective October the 1st, 2020. The removal of VAT on all-terrain vehicles, ATVs, used in mining, forestry, agriculture, and manufacturing industry, and by two shows, effective the 1st of October 2020. Included separately is a full list of zero-rated. Well, I think you could be able to go to GRA website here, gra.gov.gy, and you could be able to see the full list of the tax exemption. Let me see what it says here. Supplies. In order to keep the public informed, GRA's public relation unit had undertaken to periodically publish all the new tax measures in the 4 daily newspapers and has simultaneously posted same on the social media platforms Facebook and Instagram, Twitter and LinkedIn. The unit has also been disseminating the said information via its weekly television program Focus on GRA and Talk Tax and weekly appearances on live radio. Taxpayers, and I'm going to invite them on live radio here. Taxpayers are also advised to check with GRA's website for copies of the legislative amendments, and should further clarification be required, they can make contact with the authorities PR unit via GRA Public Relations at gmail.com, and its tax advisory services 227-6060 extension 1201 or 1204. And so I think I hope that you would have been able to get something out of that, bring some clarifications onto that. If anybody has anything, and during the show they could call and they could probably read it back. Hi, good afternoon. Okay, this person complained about the stadium gates there. Yes, we did talk about that. Good afternoon. I'm going to miss Wake Up Guyana program today because we in the Albion area get blackout. And this blackout is every day. Think different time. And when we get back, blackout. When we get back, the water even stop running. So I'm really sorry. I think they're doing some work up there. But whatever it is, losing water and light is something. So good day to the folks down there in Burbis in the Albion area. Whatever it is that you're doing today, if you're in the back dam, if you're in the kitchen, if you are in the restaurant, whatever it is that you're doing in the vehicle driving, stay safe, protect yourself. Good afternoon, somebody says. A good afternoon to you, whatever it is that you're doing too. Omesh Ramnarayan, I'm on INS sick leave. It's 10 months now. I ain't got no money. I think it's NIS sick leave. Um, that person, I did give out some numbers here a couple of weeks back. I'm going to try to get the numbers and give it to you. You need to call NIS and find out what is happening there. I think the NIS folks would have given out. I don't have the number right here right now. I'm going to call it out back as soon as I put my hands on it. But you need to call NIS and you need to start getting that information here. Overseas concern. Somebody is sending this message today. Hello, Mr. Gildarie. I have a major concern with a gentleman in the Lagrange area. It has to do with the $25,000 for residents. He's choosing his own people to give money to and taking information as he's a pastor there. Well, let me tell you this. This is incorrect. This should be incorrect. They're making it very clear that there's no gathering of information. We just play the ads. There's no gathering of information right now. There's a team going to every house. Nobody can take name. There's every house that you go to. I'm not sure how this is working. And if you have a number for this gentleman, yeah, please give it to me. Text it to us here so I can be able to call him and ask him what it is that he's doing. It has to be something else. It cannot be for 25,000. They come into your house. You don't have to register anywhere. Overseas concerned ones live there. The money is for the people. If you have a nice looking home, he passes you. He needs to be investigated. Please read my message on air, sir. Thank you very much. So not supposed to do that. Hello, Leonard. Good afternoon. Have an important issue to raise. It has to do with unprecedented disruption of electricity in the lower quarantine area from Albion to Wim. 1 second. Since last week, this has been happening at least 3 times per day. This, by extension, affects the water distribution. The pressure is very low. The students cannot be taught when there's a blackout. What's happening here? Thank you very much and have a blessed day. And yes, whenever electricity goes, everything is down. From businesses that depend on electricity to everything else. If you, like for us on the radio, people can't listen to the radio up there. The students especially, this is something that's really making me mad, that, you know, students have to pay the price. Already the internet is bad. Now you're dealing with electricity. You're also dealing with the impact it would have on water not being able to be pumped because there's no electricity to do that. Leonard, thank you very much. You announced our water problem in Williamsburg. In the quarantine, we now have water. Thank you very much, ma'am. I did speak to the minister very late last evening, and you know what? I think these ministers, in addition to working 7 days a week, do not sleep. I did receive a text very, very late, almost after 12 last night, from Minister Colin Crowell, because when I get finished here, I text them, and I think I always apologize. I say, you know, I know that, but I have my job to you, and you have your job to do, so let's meet halfway there. And so I'm going to stop here because I want to hear from you guys. 226-7453. Do we have a call in line? Not as yet, but we could read some messages in the meantime. Good afternoon. My mom is a regular listener to the program, and since I'm on leave, I listen now to have a concern. Could you please find out why the Ministry of Health, nurses and doctors can't get salaries up to now? They didn't send out any memos saying why, and we usually get paid between 18th and the 20th. I think the ministry, it was Public Works, as somebody did indicate that there was some issues with the government accounting system. They got it fixed, I think, now. I'm going to try to reach out to Minister Juan Edgel, who has some jurisdiction over what's happening with finance. And maybe he could tell me, and I could probably get back to you guys on that. So, is there a call online? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air, go right ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Could you lower your volume on your radio, please?
Okay. Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon.
The girl was called for the water. Perseverance.
Perseverance.
Yes.
What happened there?
We have no water. Yeah, I'm telling you, we have no water. We just keep people in.
This is on the east coast of Demerara.
No, by the double road.
The Mahaika area there.
Yeah, by the double road.
Yeah, well, you did tell me. And what happened? You would have to continuously talk to what happened. Your area that you live in there. I don't think there's any electricity too, right?
No, they have no
Because there's a
electricity.
squatting area
Yeah.
that is along the dam. But what could
Yes.
happen? I'm gonna ask how many residents live there,
Four or five are we? Five house. Four people them.
and would they all be willing to take a visit to visit Minister Deodatin there sometime?
Me know, Mr. Gildarie, all of them never get money to. Me go buy the NDC and put in, put the dam do.
Aye. What happened because some of the areas that you live in, but I can remember recently that they went to Canal and there's an area there that was located along the Conservancy Dam. Most people, I think, I'm not sure if they're squatting there or so, but they went there a couple of weeks back. I think Susan Rodriguez, Minister Susan Rodriguez, and Deodatin there, Minister also of Public Works. And next thing you know, within 2 weeks, the people them got water. So I think in a situation like this, because water is life, I think they could
Yes.
be able to do something.
Yeah, them business do something because we just bathing with trench water, scrub with teeth to trench water.
No. Well, let me talk. Here what's going to happen. How far away is there a connection somewhere nearby that they could take a feed off?
Connection right in the road corner.
Right in the corner. Yeah. And so how far are the houses from this road corner here? Is it a
Not
couple hundred?
far.
So
Not
it's just a
far.
matter of connections. Well, I'm
Yeah,
not the
because,
engineer here, but I'm going to look. Here, what you're going to do for me. You're going to
yeah.
call me after the show here through the
Uh,
switchboard 2258491.
you know, Mr. Gildarie, me now remember the number there.
Give me your
I
number
don't,
quickly. Give me your number.
646
Uh,
646 2815.
all right, I'm going to give you a call after the show here, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. God bless. So in the meantime, dear, you're tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show here, right here on Kaieteur Radio. And before we go to the next call, let me read some of these messages from our people. They're insisting that I read it today. Good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. It's been 8 months now since we're in the lockdown. We are bar owners have to live to us family, to maintain the bills, to pay mortgages, etc. It's not easy on people when the government, what the government want us to do. Our own bar spread COVID-19. What happened to the people that protest? What happened to the big funeral party and the wedding? I'm asking the relevant authorities to look into the bar owners, and we have to talk the street and protest if it takes too long. Here, what's gonna happen? If you could text me, whoever this bar owner is, and you could maybe make a suggestion how you could have a bar, because I know I went into a coffee shop a couple of weeks back. I wanted to get something and I had a meeting there. Um, and what happened is that they insisted we couldn't be seated inside, that we had to be outside to drink the coffee because the rules say so, which I found very, very stupid because if you could be outside, you might as well be inside as well. I mean, in the corner. But it says no, you can't be in the building. So if there's a suggestion from the bar owners as to how you could do it and not breach the laws, because the laws are very clear. Now, people are not doing and people are breaking all kinds of things. But if it is that you're in a building, you could control what is happening in the building because that's what the authorities do. If it's a lack of enforcement that people are not being gathered, that's another issue that we're talking about here. But I understand what you're saying that we need to come up with solutions, and maybe we could put it to the ministers, and because they sit down in these different forums. And unless the business people would make some kind of suggestion, it could be something that happened. I did pass by Palm Court a couple of weeks back. I sat down there, and I don't think you could open the gate there and go through the front. It's closed. But I think there are different ways that you could operate without having people being seated wrong or have them in a controlled way. If you go to think it's a movie tongue area, they don't have you in the building. You can't sit in the building. You could only be on the outside in some chairs that are far apart. So there are things that you could do. There are things that you could do that it could probably give you some kind of the business still running, but without you having it would not. I can't condone or I won't allow any kind of endorsement that would see people playing pools inside and the chairs are close to one another and everybody knocking glass together. That's not something that I'd want to do because it means that we might as well say let's go back to the normal things. So we come right about now. It's 226-7453. Go back to the lines again. Good afternoon. Um, uh, Good afternoon, call. Okay, we take a break now, right? We take a break right now. When we come back, and we're going to take some calls. Thank you.
The government of Guyana is committed to a comprehensive and inclusive housing development program for the benefit of all Guyanese. This is evident from its actions to date. However, the previous administration did absolutely nothing to identify alternative lands to house the persons squatting on state-owned lands on the east coast of Demerara. This illegal act was politically motivated, and poor and vulnerable individuals and families are being callously exploited for political purpose and private profiteering. Those lands have been identified for immediate and substantial cane cultivation by the Guyana Sugar Corporation. The information collected shows many of the squatters have proven to be homeowners, and yet the government has made every effort to engage the squatters and seek an amicable solution. Persons are being reminded that it is a criminal offense to illegally occupy state-owned land. The government cannot and will not allow squatting to be used as a means of acquiring land for housing. The government's offer to provide immediate, safe, temporary alternative accommodation to those persons in need remains in place.
So thank you very much. Welcome once again to the Wake Up Guyana show. And let me see, the person did talk about the bar owner. The bar owner did talk about that. We did try to address that. I would like to know when old age pension would be paid. I can't tell you that at the moment. Ministry of Human Services, have they not paid it? I think they would normally issue you some. They would normally issue those notices with regards to when it's being paid and so on. I'm going to try to get some details on that. Somebody has raised the issue. I think it was it's Mr. Hastu Hiralal, and talking about, we need to address better issues. It is a good question. It's a good point. The people have very little forum in which they would normally be able to turn to. For a very long time, a lot of the ministries, a lot of the agencies would have been turning people away or listening to them, don't address the situation. And so this is how this show was born, to meet some way with the people, meet halfway through. We try to reach across, and good thing about it is that many ministers, they're very receptive, and we know that they're very busy. But people got to stand up to and take some initiative on their own, meaning there's a couple of things that you could do as well. And as we go forward, we will continue to talk about it. But the entire idea of this show here is to give people a voice that they would not normally have. And so it's a difficult thing. What questions or what queries do you entertain? What could you refuse? Because some of these people, like the lady that called, very poor people living in a squatting situation in a dam in Perseverance here in the Mahaika area, barely got money to eke a living, to scratch by, but they listen and they could be able to make a call, borrow somebody's phone and make a call and said, look, we've gone almost everywhere and we can't get it, but recently there was some connection. If it's a matter of a water line or so, there's something that could be done, that could be connecting people. Here it is that they're saying that, you got to bathe from the trench, very dirty area. You got to brush your teeth from that. It is a difficult thing. So I'm not sure what's the answer. And this is the Wake Up Guyana show. So we're going to continue to, give the people a voice here until such time. And there, of course, are the issues. We want to bring on our ministers and our other people, and we will do that from time to time. But this is not about giving our ministers or opposition leaders or anybody the big up, and it sounds good, they've said good words. So this is about the people's power. It is about their voice. That's what it is. That's my mandate. We will continue as we go forward to evolve with the show, to increase it, to bring you better topics and things like that. As of now, the people dictate what it is. So let's see how it goes from there. Do we have a call online? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You're in the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's something I would like to know about certain products in Guyana. If you should open up a product and find a substance in it, where do we go for that?
I could barely hear you. You're coming in and out.
Yeah. If there's a product I bought about 3 weeks ago, and until I open it, then I realized that there's something inside.
Explain a little more. Let me see if I get you what you really trying
Yes.
to say.
I opened up. I bought something to drink.
Yes.
Until I opened the cork from it,
Uh-huh.
that is when I realized, because after it started frothing up, this is when I realized, and it was a dark content. So I couldn't notice it before it was open either.
Uh-huh. And what did you find really? I'm not really getting it. What did you find?
I find a face mask in a bottle.
How could a face mask be in a bottle? Like they push it through into the bottle in itself?
Well, that's what I'm telling you. And I don't want to give the company name and the product name where I get it from, but I just want to get some advice as to what I should do.
I think you should go to the Ideal Consumers. There's a Consumer and Competition Commission backed by Sapphire there. But why didn't you raise it with the company? How would a face mask end up in a bottle? I don't understand.
I
that.
raised it to the company, and the company offered me something that is not appropriate, and I don't even need nothing from the company. All I need is things to be standard, so we can get better health system in the country, because it's been too long. People been finding umpteen different things in different products, and for me, it's like I have nowhere to go to get it solved because the item already open. And it's a fact, because umpteen times you cannot know what is in the bottle or inside the container if it is a dark object until you open it. And you have for me, I see it as no case for me because I don't know where to go because it's already open. And
Right.
I went to the company take it to do tests, and they never reply to me. And every time I call them, or my wife call them, they have something to offer that is not substantial.
But I don't understand what you go test if a mask, you bought a product or something, a bottle, something to drink, and a mask is inside that. What are you testing?
Well, that's what I want to know. I don't know. But that's why I call this program to seek some advice as to what I should do.
Talk to the Competition and Competitive Commission. This is in Sapphire. I don't have a number for them, but they're the ones who protect consumers. By law, they're supposed to do that. And let's see, I'm interested in this case because I can't, for the heck of me, see how something like that would end up in a bottle that you would buy to probably drink a soft drink or something.
I have picture with the stuff and everything, so I would really love to get things done the right way, because
Yeah.
I'm not looking for no money, and I'm not looking for nothing, because I need things to go the right way.
Thank you very much, sir. So keep me posted how you get into with that, right?
I would like to have a personal a number that I can contact you differently, so I could explain to you better.
All right, you call 2258-491 after the show, and they will give you my number.
8499.
2258-491, okay?
91.
Yes.
What's that?
Thank you very much, dear. So that's a very strange one, dear. Mask ended up in a bottle, was something that he bought to drink. I'm not sure how that happened. Somebody need to explain there. With regards to that old age pension, Elizabeth Sunitz is saying, and this is one of our viewers on Facebook, that the old age pension is payable tomorrow, October the 28th, 2020. Thank you very much for that, Sunitz. I know that you were ailing for a little while. I hope that you're feeling a little better. She's been with us from day one, since early March, when the show would have been the elections watch and the COVID-19 watch. She would have been there with us, always there. And so I hope that you're doing far better. And whoever it is, right across our beautiful country, if you're ailing today, I hope that you get better. If you're celebrating your birthday today, of course, happy birthday to you. But make sure that you stay safe. There's something that we have to look forward to. In the meantime, let me see what are some of these messages. Hi, good afternoon. I'm living in the Barbies River with 2 kids and my wife, along with 4 going to high school. Will both with 4 go in high school, will both get the grant? With 2 kids and my wife. I'm not sure if all is with one family. Is it 2 family or 1 family? You didn't explain this. If you're living there with your children and wife, that's 1 family. I think that's how I understand it. But you need to give me some more information there. Hi, good afternoon. Could you ask when the pension book will be available for pickup for the year 2021 in the Monrepo area? Thank you. As we get it, as they put it out, we will bring this to you. We don't have that information right now, but tomorrow pension will be payable. I would like to know when the people of Takatuma will receive the 25. Tapakuma, which area is this? Could you give me some more details? Which region is it? They were asking about the $25,000 there. Um, Good afternoon, Leonard. There's a huge pothole in the middle of the road just before the Mahika Junction. It's getting worse every day. Heard that you did say that the minister will send a team, but nothing has been done yet. Thank you for that, because I am going to send him a message right now. I did speak to him a couple of days back. Let me see. Bear with me there. And so in the meantime, it is coming on to thereabouts. Okay, let me tell you, I'm going to send it to you. Okay, Mahika Road. Still waiting. Bear with me a little. Let me, before I get it right. Thank you very much there. And so it is 2 o'clock there. You are tuned in to the Wake Up Guyana show. And it is a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regenton or Knox Street to better serve you. You can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. Take a break now, and when we come back, open those lines again. So no, we don't take a break right now. Let me get ready. So do we have another call on the line? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Go right ahead. Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Go right ahead.
Hello.
Hi. Yes. You on the air?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, I'm calling from Essequibo Coast.
Okay, we're in Esquivel Coast.
This is Good Hope.
Good Hope, sir. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got two problems I want to highlight. I don't know if it is possible.
Sure.
Yes, if you bail somebody on Essequibo Coast at the court, after time when the story finish, yeah, and you have to go till to town to Gildarie to get back the bail money, man. We can't get this money back right on Essequibo Coast.
You know, this issue came up sometime back. I'm trying to remember what happened. But you're not supposed to be traveling. Somebody on the East Coast had that issue there, and they had to be traveling back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah,
they
but
normally
you don't go and get it in Gildarie the same day.
Yeah, because they have got to take it out. They have to issue some payment thing and all kind of thing. It's a long drawn out thing. But here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ask the police them. Let me just write this down. Police on the bail money. And so wherever it is that you bail somebody out, when you got to get it back, you got to go travel to Gildarie or somewhere.
Yeah, 'cause if you want to help a family get in a problem, when you finish, I mean, you bail them here, you go to the station, you bail them. When the story done, if you get back the money, it's a draft out story. If you go to Gildarie sometimes 2 to 3 times and you don't get through.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. Somebody.
Grand, you just got left it because it don't make sense to travel fit.
Yeah, and there was a racket at one point in time being run with that. People were complaining heavily. I'm going to get some clarifications on that. I don't have much information. I don't know how they do it.
And one more issue.
Sure.
Yeah, at the GRA on Essequibo Coast, if you want to change a car from private to hire, you have to go to town to do it. Why we GRA on Essequibo Coast can't do these things?
There's a GRA down there?
Yes, a GRA is in Regina.
And what are they telling you?
You have to travel to and go to the GRA in town to get the transaction change.
There's a change from what? From hire car to a private or private to hire car?
Yes, yes.
And what about change of colors and so?
No. Well, I know about the colors, but I got recently to change one of my car and they tell me I got to go and do it in town. I can't do it at Essequibo. And that's hard, man.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why would you have a thing, even if you say to the people, we're going to do the transaction here, send it to Dorchung, and let them okay it, and you got to wait a couple of days. This is why you have a branch
but
there.
There's no problem, yes, if they do it. So, but you got to spend money, go to town, and then when you come back, then you have to go back and show them that you get to do in town. And that is hard, and we got a GRA. If we didn't have one, it's okay.
Okay, I'm going to talk to...
and see what you could do for we, man. It has been
I'm going to talk to Mr. Godfrey Station that, and let's see what he has some kind of explanation for it.
Okay, thanks very much.
God bless you there. All right, so I want to say good day to the folks down there on the Essequibo Coast, where whatever it is that you're doing today. I know that many farmers live in there, and there's so many things. A very quiet place, scenic place, along the seawall there. I'm not sure. Last couple of weeks, I've been very worried In fact, with regards to the number of accidents in that area, there's some turns, some dangerous turns up there, and it seems as if there's a lot of speeding going on. We did see that young policeman losing his life on the east coast of Demerara recently. You got to take care on the roads. I'm not sure why is it that we need to speed. You see the minibuses overtaking, undertaking, all kind of things they're doing, switching lanes at will. Got to take care on the road. It's very, very dangerous. You're not only causing damage to your vehicle, but you also put in your lives. You could very well do without spending a little $25,000, $30,000 there. I could tell you something that happened the other day. Man, I think I did tell you. I went into Nandi Park there to wash one of the cars, and I parked the other car at the side. So the family was standing next to me, and then somebody came and said, "No, you need to come take a car." It was late in the evening, and that happened over the weekend. And I said, "I'm not going," because I became very suspicious. Why you want me to go into that corner there with you? Is either you robbing me or something? He says, no. Something happened to your car. So with a little, thing in my heart, I went across, and then he told me that his canter reversed out to the street and drove into the car. It cost me $45,000 over the weekend there to fix. The car can't ever be the same. He was a little fearful that it's going to end up that I would have to replace the bonnet. And so fortunately, that was not the case. But here the issue is, he came and he told me, and I said, "I appreciate the fact that you did come tell me you didn't run away, because I would have had to use the cameras around here to see who it was." But he says, "No, I didn't want to do that." But he told me, "Look, I don't have all the money." I ended up putting my hands in my pocket to get some of the money to repair the car. But at the end of the day, the point that I'm trying to raise is that these are unnecessary expenses that we could do without. Speeding could cause the possibilities of you having to spend money. It could cost somebody's life. It could cause persons to end up in the hospital. You don't need that. Take your time on the road. Take your time. And of course, you got to continuously check your car, brakes light, whatever it is that you normally would check on a weekly, daily basis to ensure that the car is roadworthy. You have to do that. It's part of the arrangement. When you own a car, you own a vehicle, it's all part of that. Do not assume that everything is all right. Every week you should go around your car. What is it I need to know? Let somebody press the brakes. So if the brake light is coming on, put in reverse, make sure that all two is working. You don't want the police stop you, like when the man says his high beam, its headlight was blown, and the police want to charge him. Don't put yourself in that. Yes, it's going to blow at some point in time. It's not going to tell you when, but we need to be very careful. Is there another caller online? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead. Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Gildarie.
Yes, it is.
I listened to your program, and I saw the guy last caller who was calling from Esquivo about, bail. When you bail something, if I want you to answer me a fair question. Does the government do anything different? No. They don't do nothing different. All they're doing since they take office is doing the same thing. They're looking for build roads and bridges, and people need good services. Every time I listen to your program, people calling Mr. Gildarie to complain about the services that they're getting from these places, and the government does nothing about it. I don't understand what these people looking and what they're listening to. They don't understand for the last 25 years that the people wasn't getting good services from these places. These places. The other day I was listening to a program when they were talking about Crabo Creek and the village office, and people come, you can't get no talk to these people. You was employed to do a job. You don't know what you got to do. Why these people got to come to you steady to complain to you about your job? I mean, if you don't have the expertise in the job, then remove these people and put people who know what they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you. And if you want to drop parallel there, yesterday, I think the president here finally sworn in a couple, I think it was about 19 chair and vice chair of the regions. Those are the administrative regions. And he said, elections are over. Get down and do your work. And it is a very clear charge, because he understands that if they don't perform, he's going to look bad. I think he understands that very, very clearly. And how long we don't start understanding that these NDC people are a very critical component of the whole governance system. Whether you like it or not, when GRA doesn't do well, the government gets blamed. When NIS does not do well, the government gets blamed. Everything gets blamed on the government. Maybe so, rightly so, because if you're in government, you're supposed to take steps to understand that you put the people there, they have to perform, or you got to come up with solutions.
Exactly. You're responsible for these things. You got to ensure that you provide service. These people are paying for these services. And you got to ensure that you provide these services to these people, good services. I was going to tell you a story. I don't know why, they got to get a board that, like how people could call you. They should call up to the board, because when you direct them back to the commissioner of police, the commander of police, and the NIS boss, it's like, I think that you're just making a mock out of the people. You're drawing rings around them. Like, for example, if you get a 911 service for the people, you can put a regular constable for answer 911 service card.
You got to train them. You have to train them.
No, but you got to get somebody senior so they should know where the police is, what they're doing, and why they're not responding to these people call when they call in. So you do the dispatching. You know what? If the police force, I'm speaking directly about the police force, because we're not getting good service from the police force, and sometimes they're making fool out of the people by coming and asking people this kind of nonsense and that nonsense. If you look at how the police operates, when it's like you having a mega ship in the ocean, and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the captain and all the senior people gone and sleep, and they come back 3 o'clock the next morning, the ship sailing all over the place throughout the night, and then you cannot do that. You understand? 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when the police harassing people after 4 the next morning, 8 o'clock, there is no way you could call. It's a deliberate act of harassment on the people during the course of the time. And all these people, you are getting paid for security. Mr. Glenlal is paying tax so that this tax money could go and pay for security services. And when Mr. Glenlal got to sleep in the night, the people who are responsible for security gone and sleep too. You imagine that? Everybody's sleeping. The man who is responsible for security that's supposed to see that Mr. Glenlal and other people, business people who is paying tax, that they ensure that they sleep so they could come back tomorrow and they could work so that they could get money for pay the government so that the police could get paid. The man who is responsible for security, he's sleeping, and the man who paying, he's sleeping. Everybody's sleeping at the same time. How that is possible?
Well, how long we don't, and we did raise this issue several times before, how long we don't understand that when we decide to run for public office, whether it's at a councilman level, whether it's as a minister, because you don't run for minister, you get appointed as a minister, you're sworn in as a result of being on the list and so on. But when you decide to do that, it's in service of the people. The word service is very important. The police, it's part of their thing. Service is all part of it. So when you go there and you take up the job and you give the people them a 6 for 9, and then go back next 5 years and you say, look, could you vote for me again? What do you believe the people are going to do to you? How long people don't get up and start understanding this ain't got nothing to do with parties. This has to do with delivery of services. We're not gonna move forward. We're gonna remain stuck in the doldrums in the 1950s and the 1960s, and that's where we're gonna be, because we don't want to think forward or think progressive.
Yeah,
simple.
You see the 6 for 9 thing is a 6 for 9. What you said is the correct thing. We say 6 for 9, we get in, and I can't imagine how we calling and we complaining and we crying and we complaining and we crying, and they does nothing about these things. Right now, Mr. Gildarie, I must compliment you, because you is like the voice of the people right now. Mr. Glenlal and Kaieteur Radio is like the voice of the people. The people doesn't have nothing. What some of these politicians, if you would have had this program before election, I would tell you that most of these people who is jumping but they're representing the people is parasites. What were they doing? Any one of them decline from any one of them that declined the offer that was given to them having a position in the government? No, they're taking it up. How you could represent the people? When you is with the government, you can't represent the people. You see any one of them speaking out about the cries, about the people, about the services that they're getting. None of them.
And the problem is, and you're right, we have to start looking at our governance system because how we have it here. You have the central government and you have the local government and everything that is there. You have the executive branch, and each one of them supposed to be working in concert with each other, supporting each other, feeding off of each other. When one falls out, because imagine the government, the ministers are not going to come and clean your back drain there. The NDC is the one who's going to have to be there when they don't collect their money, or when they decide, you know what, Gildarie has a business there, let me take a bribe from him or something, and then they don't collect my taxes that is due to them. I'm short on them, and when they come at the end of the year and they don't collect their monies, they can't deliver the necessary service that they have, and they got to depend on government for a little 3-5 million. But the money's out there, it's right within the village. You need to collect it. You need to collect it. The business people got the money there.
Yes.
It's a serious business. It's serious business. So I thank you very much. I hear your points. I think you're right on target with them, and I hope that we all learn from it.
Thank you, Mr. Gildarie.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a pleasant rest of the day. So in the meantime, there we have a couple messages. You tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. What is it that you're doing today? What's it that you're cooking in your pots? I'm a little hungry here. They had some fish and bread this morning. Fish and bread from the market, Starbucks market. When the last time you ever went there? A lot of people laugh, but let me tell you, have some of the best dal and rice. And have you ever had the dal and rice and fish curry? Strange thing, huh? But the market got some very good food. They have some of the best fish and bread and some of the best peanut punch in the entire country. I want to say good day to the folks down there at the Starbucks market there. I wish that they could improve it and make that into a tourist attraction. Get rid of some of the robbers that are standing, hustling, robbing around the clock area. They're watching people, passing their hands on the women when they're passing, abusing them, catcalling them. We got to change that whole area. It's a beautiful area. Throw some benches there, clean it up, fix up the wharf, and have the police them stand guard. Have some coffee there that you could imagine looking up at that clock with nice lights in the evening, and you could have your beer or your coffee, whatever it is that you prefer in that area. There are so many things we could do in this country. Somebody need to think. Somebody need to wake up. The Wake Up Guyana show. Hi, good afternoon, Leonard. There's a particular policeman, Caleb, at Sparnam police station harassing these 44 don't say Indian, bus drivers, and policeman turning back when another one is passing, double up and pack up like sardines, and the big music. He give ticket like breeze. It's a very harassing. Mr. Caleb, what is happening there? Your name is being called Caleb at the Sparnam police station. People saying that you are very you discriminate when you see certain minibuses passing. You need to get your act together. Don't let's hear another complaint. Leonard, the people working in the various agencies are the same as before. The question is, are they willing to work with the new government? Well, there's always been the accusation that people within the system, because of party orientation or parties loyalty affiliation, that they go slow on the work, or the work as fast as they can if they decide it's their people. It's always going to be an issue that we have to deal with here. The big problem that we have there. Where does Guyana stand in this entire equation here? What is important? Is it the development of the people, or is it the development of a party? Party politics all over again? This should not be. We need to change our attitude and see that Guyana loses when we practice those kind of behavior. Hi, Leonard. The lease land that this man have in the area Siluziknan between the East Coast Damar Highway and the railway embankment line. He have 3 houses, 1 cow pen, and 1 house on the reserve by the railway embankment. He putting up these houses to rent. I want to know why the council don't find out who gave the permission. That is lawless. Somebody needs to write to the NDC in this area and write to the CHMP. We have two very serious ministers there. No squatting, no taking over of reserve that belong to the state. And I think that this should be brought to the attention of Colin Crowell and Susan Rodriguez. They're very serious as people. Grandma from number 58 Village Quarantine. I want you to wish. Okay, who is him? Okay, this is the grandma from number 58 Village Quarantine. I want to wish him a happy birthday. And the him happens to be some man named Abraham Gangadin. It's grandma's husband's birthday today, so she put it all back to front. She calls and she says, make sure when you're up in Burby, come to see me. I have maybe some fowl in the yard, I'm not sure. But I want to say Happy birthday to Abraham Gangade. Don't normally do it, but we are going to do it in this particular case. She's been with us for forever, always calling us. I'm very happy to hear from Kaieteur Radio. Good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. I'm the woman who texted you for the tablet. Okay. All right. Let me see. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten any as yet, but let me see. It's 3, 6, 7. I'm gonna have to start getting some more donations for that. So before we go to the lines again, hi, good afternoon. Is it true that school will be open for grade 5 and 6 on the 3rd of November? I don't have that. What I could tell you that the CSEC and Cape students, that the ministry and the parents and all the stakeholders are reaching Esquibon all over the place. Right now, they're meeting via Zoomer, so they're trying to see how schools, especially for these exam students in grade 5 and 6, that they're trying to talk to these, especially with the Cape students as well, CSEC, to see how they could do it. With regards to grade 5 and 6, I'm going to have to get some more details as to that. I don't have that details yet. And of course, good afternoon, Leonard. I really don't like dishonest, honest people. You know why? Because if you're dishonest, a selfie going to be dishonest. Other people we have to be. I'm not sure. This is confusing me. My apologies. And today, good afternoon, Leonard. You have a vision. Starbuck Market is infested with parasites. Clean it up right now. Thank you very much for that. It's a beautiful area. I love Starbuck. And if you used to go into Starbuck Market there, and there were two big, I think we did talk about it and I did write about it sometime. There were two big stalls there that you could have gone and browsed books and things like that. And those who were book lovers who remember Harold Robbins, James Hadley Chase, Louis L'Amour, if you're a book lover, and of course Enid Blyton as a little boy, Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, and so many books, magazines, comics, Archies, and so on that was there. Beautiful places back there. I hope that somebody could eventually go back and do something. You could have a book there. You could pick up a book. You could drop a book. There was a book club that was going on there. You pay a little fee. You bring a book. You had to join it. Where is the love for books right now? I think we got to start doing that back again. People are not reading enough. So thank you very much there. 226-7453. We go back to the line here right now on the Wake Up Guyana show. Good afternoon, you're on the air. Go right ahead. Yes, good afternoon.
Hi, Mr. Leonard. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go right ahead.
I wanted to raise this topic this a little while now. Two things. First one, we were talking about roads, and the previous government, we did new tires and all of these stuff. We want to avoid fatalities and accidents and so forth. But yet on the roadways, we don't know the obvious stuff then whereby people drink and so forth that cause accidents. But these potholes that they have on major roads, why can't we fix? For example, the one that frets me the most right now, because it's been there for the whole road ain't good. I don't know if you're familiar with the Utong Lamaha area, Republic Street, Lamaha Street. From Vicentia Road, go back down to like Millington Street. The whole road where Kingfish is.
I know that area very well. Yes, it's an issue.
That road has been bad for like about 3 to 4 years now. The cross streets there, which is Republic Street, and so that was good. GWI did some work. Republic Street, if you go see it now.
That's in the Newtown area there, right? Newtown.
Yes.
I know that area. Yes.
That whole if you pass there right now, you can't drive your vehicle there. You gotta probably get a tractor or something to drive there. And it's been that way for like over a year, going on to 2 years. That street has been like that. The Lamaha Street has been that way for about, let me say, about 4 years, 3 to 4 years. And on to now, I can't understand for the love of me, why is it that it is on to now, under the previous administration, under this one, why it hasn't fixed. That's one. Two, now, two things happen. When people, let me say high official, when they move to an area, suddenly the area, everything gets better when they live there. When the ordinary people live there, nothing can be done. It takes years to get something done. Let me use, for example, I don't know if you're familiar with the UG area. There was the previous public work minister, one of his family members used to live in one of the streets, the Forest Street, I think. And the street was bad. If you go to UG, in fact, Forest Street, Second Street, Fourth, all the streets, majority of them bad, except for the major way that you're driving in. Once his family member moved there, this is a couple of years back, the street fixed. Just that one, right? Now we have the Prime Minister. I'm sure you live in Diamond. He lives in Diamond too. Morning time, we have no traffic now to come out. It's clear. Because you got to make sure when it's time to move, it's clear. But the ordinary person, after they done come and gone their way, back to normal square one again.
Right.
And the same thing to when the man came in, the high dignitary that came in. I'm all for we treating people perfectly and well. You live on the East Bank, set of potholes. When he came, all fixed.
Wow.
All was fixed. Not a single one was there. Stuff like that. If we can't respect our citizen and the citizen of the country can't have the best life, and only when we get foreigners coming, we're trying to put on this facade, then we ain't going nowhere. And the last thing I want to highlight is that when you call the police station, I had an encounter with a guy. He threatening, he was getting violent. So I don't want to curse and fight and bro. I called the station. I said, this is a man. He's being aggressive. He got a weapon in his hand. He's making threatening remarks. Send somebody. The station said, okay, we're gonna send somebody. 2 hours later, nobody. 3 hours later, no one. I went out, go to the station till in the afternoon, and still had to wait about 2 hours, and then I had to go back and bring out my vehicle. They said whole day, they still didn't reach. Now, scenarios like that is whereby people could end up dying.
Right. No, well, we got to start. It's a basic issue, and we got to put it right.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear. So I want to say good day to the folks down there in Diamond and Grove area. Beautiful area. I like it there. And on the East Bank as well. It's one of the most dangerous roads in the entire country, the busiest road in the entire country because of the volume, the sheer volume of persons that live right along that area. And I'm hoping that they very quickly put in that new road that is going to link the East Bank to the East Coast, because that's going to take up a lot of the traffic area, and we need to connect it starting at Diamond, or else it's going to be we're going to be lost somewhere along the line. We're going to come back to square one, and that bridge area there, it is going to be an issue for us going forward. So we need to shoot it off to Diamond at least, linking up that road that is going to be linking up the East Coast to the East Bank along from Ogilvie. And it goes all the way up to Diamond. We have to do that. It's important, because if we have the bridge, the new harbor bridge, which I understand is going to be a high overhead pass that is going to allow ships to pass on. When that comes into play, it's going to need more roads. It is going to need so many other things that comes along the way. And by the way, I'm seeing something here that came out yesterday. I would have to call James Bond and ask him what is happening here. Some lands along the east bank of Demerara there, Peters Hall area. Apparently it wasn't advertised on this hill. Surely it can be true. Surely some of these things that we're seeing here can be true, because if it is that we just taking things and we just flipping them for the sake of flipping them without doing any development, then we are acting as realtors and as speculators, and I don't think that is what this country wants when it comes to their assets and lands and things like that. We're going to hear a little more about that as we go forward. I want to say good afternoon to you once again. It's the Wake Up Guyana show. Good afternoon to W.R. Riaz, just stepped into the studio here. Haven't seen him for a very long time. Were you on leave or something, sir? So I've been told that we are headed into a break right now. When we're back, we are going to take some more calls and, of course, read you some of these messages. 1 second.
The government of Guyana has begun the rollout of the COVID-19 $25,000 household cash grant. Citizens are being advised that there is no pre-registration requirement. Clearly identified distribution clerks under the supervision of the Ministry of Finance will visit the respective households to verify credentials. Following this exercise, distribution will be done on a house-to-house basis. In cases where there are multiple households in one home, only the principal householder will receive the cash grant in the first instance. However, the other householders will be required to provide their information on a pink form and following verification, they will receive the cash grant. The $25,000 household cash grant is in keeping with the government's promise to provide economic relief during the COVID-19 pandemic.
So thank you very much. Welcome once again. So Tapakoma Tapakoma Lake is an American village in Region 2. And the person is saying to us, they're responding to my queries. Where is it exactly that what is it that they're talking about? You could recall this morning we said that the COVID-19 $25,000 is in Region 2. And the person is asking where it is. And so I can tell you in Region 2, according to the government's notice, it is Jacklow, Dredge Creek to Suriki, New Road and Charity, Plantation Phillips to Westbury, Land of Plenty to Bushlot, Columbia to Affiance, Collin to Perseverance, Pomona to Diren. Am I correct?
Who's the Diren?
Yes, yeah. I think there's something that you do with the slip of the tongue there. Okay. Officers will visit each home to verify and make payments. Residents are asked to have their national ID card readily available, effective Tuesday. So it doesn't say anything with Tapakoma, and I presume they would have to visit there somewhere along the line there. Do we have another call very quickly? Good afternoon, caller, you on the air.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? You sound very happy. Go right ahead.
Good evening, ma'am. Mr. Gildarie, I like your program, man, but I'm calling you because a lot of people calling you and they're talking a lot of shit sometimes, with the previous government.
You can't use another whole line. You can't use those words.
Them even gone in 5 months yet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then Apnu was in there and they're complaining about the government. They wasn't doing nothing. But our government only gone in there only a couple months ago, okay? And they're still doing good, okay?
Yeah.
Come on. Well, I like your program, but you gotta deal with some of these people in the right way because they only make you like a fool in the car. Okay, like when you asked a lady the other day, just now, when Michael she living, 5 body, so much body living on the plate, the squad in. How could you go and put electricity for 5 people on a person on a land and they go and squad? Come on.
You understand, right? Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Gildarie, I like your show on Uncle Glenn, but why calling you? I like you with Senator Body. Greetings to my daughter, man. I appreciate that, Natasha Samaru. I wish you a happy birthday, 16 years from her dad. Ready? Samaru. And hope God bless her. And Lord, she will show a blessing for her. And for you too, Lord, she will show his blessing for you, man. You're a good man. I appreciate your show. But these people who are calling you and telling you about these things, they must understand, Mr. Gildarie.
Well, you know, in Guyana, in Guyana, I have 3 children, and none of them are like 3 children. I'm not sure. Right. Riaz is looking at me like funny, and he and I are gonna have a conversation. But let me tell you this: none of them are like. So when the people call, they have a right. They have a right. I
have 3 kids for Mr. Gildarie, but listen, when the Apnu was in power, you never hear nobody calling and complaining, okay? But PDP government got him back, and now they're complaining. What do they want? They want the president to build a house, give them a land free, give them everything. When the Apnu opposition was in government, we didn't get in a pandemic 25,000 John cash check for and helping. You know that?
Yep.
Okay. Now PDP government gone in, they take over, they getting help, they giving people. What more they want from the people? They want infant Alito. Build house, give them free land and everything, water, light, everything free. Come on, man.
Man, I hear you, and I like your attitude there, man. Let's keep it up, right? Thank you very much for that. Yeah, and happy birthday to your daughter.
To my daughter, Natasha Saru, man. I thank you very much, Gildarie.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. So I want to say good day to Natasha Samru. Your dad says if I don't do it, he's going to stop listening to this program, but I know you're going to listen. I'm just kidding you, man. I hope that you have a wonderful day, my dear. And it's coming to you from your daddy. Your daddy loves you a lot. And, of course, from all the folks down here who listen, who tuned in, and from the people down at Kaieteur Radio, Kaieteur News. So I hope that you have a blast of a day. And so, have you read a book lately? We were talking just now about reading a book. You remember at the middle of the middle of Starbuck Market, the book stand? I think they still have it. I'm not sure how many people read it.
No, I have not.
Somebody was telling about James Hadley Chase and Louis L'Amour. No, I used to go to QC and I used to walk. I used to get away from my lunch. I used to pray for lunch hour, get away and walk all the way to the Pennington's Market. That's right next door to us here.
Right next door, correct.
And I used to borrow a book and reach back for 1 o'clock. Walk from all the way from QC. and walk. I think those days I used to walk very, very quickly. I'm not sure, but I
know,
read
but-
song,
well, how
borrowed
about-
the book, and went back to
How
school.
about now when you walk in?
Man,
Oh, you were asking me if I was on leave? No, I wasn't on leave. It was only Tuesday. But I was arrested yesterday. Not by the police. I
But-
was arrested
Uh-huh.
for 45 minutes.
You care to say anything about that?
I was arrested by Mr. Glenn Lal for 45 minutes.
And
I was coming into the studio. He's like, everything's good, Riaz? Yes, everything is good. All right. You saw the headlines in today's? Yes. You read it? Yes. All right. Come into my office. Come into my office. And of what should have been a 5 minutes discussion, when you even join us for a brief moment till I reached on air like about 10, 12 minutes late. I was like, I got to go 3 o'clock. It's okay. We'll figure it
well,
out.
I would
But-
like.
but it was a good arrest in this case.
Yeah.
Because I've learned, I've been clarified on some vital information. I was being educated about oil in our country. And it seems that Mr. Lal, not it seems, I'll have to say, he's very passionate about the natural resource of Guyana and for the well-being of the people of Guyana. He don't want anything, you know. I'll tell you this not because I'm sitting at Kaieteur Radio. He doesn't want anything. He wants the people of Guyana to benefit from it.
But I've worked with him more than 13 years, and I know him a little longer than that. I knew him from before. And when I came back, he says, Gildarie, you must come. What are you doing at home? One day I called him. I said, there's a murder, somebody drunk or something. He said, what are you doing at home? He wasn't interested with the story. He said, what are you doing? You can't be sitting there. Could you please come into Kaieteur? Let's talk. You need to come and write or something. So this is how I ended up back in the media. And
Yeah, well, I've known him since I've pretty much been in
hold
the
on.
industry.
I've seen him go very passionately behind some subjects, but when it comes to this oil, this is a different level. And he says, you know, Gildarie, I understand it. He says, I understand it in my guts, in my belly, deep in my belly. This is what he said.
You know, he told me the same word.
Oh yeah, he says I understand it.
Yes.
I work with this guy, so he said,
Yes.
you know, I understand this thing deep in my belly, and if you understand what this money here could do for people to uplift the standards of
Yep.
life, that they don't have to go to a hospital and be lining up. There's going to be 5 hospitals like that. We're going to have 3 bridges across the Demerara River. He said, if you understand what I'm saying to you, and if you
Yeah.
could get it right, then you would understand you could be driving a Mercedes as well, and all Guyana could be driving. And you could have a pension, and you could have a fee at the end of the month, a check in your mail that is part of your profits every month.
But if we make it happen to places like Nigeria, and we're going to be in
You could kiss the oil goodbye.
total chaos.
Right. Hi.
Zimbabwe as well, too.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon. I'm all the way in Mara. The road is very bad. State over 20 years. Nobody looking at us. Tiger could catch us. Mara, that's up the
That's
Mahaica River?
No, that's
Is it?
Berbice. That's East Bank Berbice.
East Bank
so
Berbice.
when you go to New Amsterdam, you're going to go past Stanley Town
Uh-huh.
and you keep heading there. Edinburgh, heading into Glasgow, heading way down into Mara. That's East Bank Berbice.
All right. What you could do there, Mara, if you listen to us, what we need you to do, you need to make an application to the NDC and send a copy of it to the RDC. David Amargon says that you spoke at Kaieteur Radio, and even Mr. Zamal Hussein. And let me tell you, Zamal Hussein, I think it is, he's the new vice chair, sworn in yesterday as well. And he has made it very, very clear that he is willing to help. So anytime you want to talk to him, quote Kaieteur News, Kaieteur Radio, and says that you spoke to Gildarie and Riaz Hussein and the rest of the boys there, and they're demanding that he put it in his work plan to have that road fixed. So that's what I'm going to say to you. Good afternoon, sir. I'm concerned by the borders between Guyana and Suriname. The borders are closed, but still have people going and coming back between Guyana and Suriname through the back track, and they're working from 11 p.m. in the night to 4 a.m. So there's a late night thing. They're working overtime beyond the shift system. Is it? Is a shift system? We need to know here, man. So where the police? Where the Coast Guard? Surely the police knows about it because they're supposed to be patrolling. Where's customs? What are you guys doing? Can you please help stop that? I don't have to know. I know who have COVID-19 and who don't. Concerned person. Thank you very much, dear. And so I'm going to have some conversation.
Someone want to know if Mr. GHK Lal is the same Mr. Glenn Lal.
Okay, let me answer
you
this question.
will answer
Let
that
me answer that. The both of the names, the G-Lal, both of them have G-Lal in the name. It's 2 different men. Both got bald head. That's one. I think I can't go downstairs back. I'm not going to go. But both got bald head. both are very energetic and passionate about their respective things that they pursue. Glenn is a businessman. GHK used to work on Wall Street in America. Very well written. One of the best writers I've seen. It's a fantastic writer. When he writes, he wrote a book that I think is Cesspool. It was a exposure of GRA and the systems there. As a migrant, his experience, he wrote it, and that was the first time I ran into him. And when I read that book, I said, wow, he was so cutting in his language on cutting GRA part, and very wasn't sarcasm, was a lot of pain as a Guyanese person talking about his experience there. And he talking about the cesspool of corruption that was happening there. And so I met him there, and then we're very good friends right now, both to the G level. One does not drink, one drinks.
Don't say which. That's okay. Leave that as it is.
They're good friends of mine. I respect both gentlemen. So they're two different gentlemen, but the similarities, there are a lot of similarities.
And I've also got a confirmation that Mr. Glenn Lal said he will come on the show. However,
You put
that's all I
conditions
got.
it?
No, I got a confirmation I'll come on the show.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't say when, time, date. He just confirmed that he will come on the show. I got a lot. I tried to bring up a raise for Gildarie and Raj, but the oil was very thick, so it kind of overshadowed that too.
I understand that. I think sometimes he hides from me too.
His focus was on oil with me yesterday. But I'll tell you what though, on a very, very serious note, and I'll be interjecting these bits and pieces somewhere along the line, I've got clarity a little bit more on some of the things that I had a perception of. And I got a little bit more clarity, which is which is good for me in the sense that we've heard so much about natural resource, but I'll tell you the most important thing about it is that he is so passionate for the betterment of the people of Guyana, and that is what make me sit that extra time to pay more attention. Because if you're wanting and you're thinking it's I need to get this, or let's Kaieteur Radio could get, or Riaze, what happened if we get this right, Kaieteur Radio could get more things. It was nothing about that. It was not even a dot about his network at no point in time. His keywords is that he wants to see the people benefit.
Oh, let's bring him on. We want to put him in the hot seat because
I would
what this guy does to us. I've been working with him 13 years. So you normally put us in the hot seat. As what time we get him here and let him sit down. And let's put him in the hot seat, right?
Yes.
So we're going to do that. Good day to you, Mr. Glenn Lal. Whatever it is that you're doing, sir, must remember we have plans for you. Dear sir, good day. I regret to inform you that the snacket is still on the walkway in the vicinity of the crossing of Freedom Hoop section
There was a
junction.
There was one like that as you bring this up. There's one at Agricola as well too. So let me don't look at Freedom Hoop only.
Okay,
I saw that as it is.
Yeah. The snacket remain on the walkway of the Freedom Hoop junction. So I pass lawlessness. I'm not sure what else to describe it as we go forward. These are things that we have to
developing in more and more areas. I could tell you that.
So it seems as if you just want to throw up a business. I think tonight, you know what? 2 o'clock, I'm going to knock up some wood and take it out there and build a shed right on
Get
the
Raj.
thing.
You notice Raj took a shave and a haircut, everything.
I'm not talking anything with Raj.
Why?
Raj promised.
Raj did what?
I'm not going to say it. Today I'm in a good mood. Don't put me in a bad mood, right?
Did Seven Curry? No, the time
No,
gone. It's
don't
already.
go there, man. Don't even go there.
Oh my God.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yesterday morning, the official from Linden what a Silver Hill distribution of the pension books for 2021, but we are living before that. That place. Reason why I'm mentioning this. Sorry, my message cut short, but continuing. We have an elderly who are bedridden, blind, suffering from stroke, and have to take all the old folks in Linden to renew the books. I think they should come here to the Moblisa community. I think you guys should get hold of the Ministry of Human Services, talk to them, and see whether, especially in the various areas, whatever it is affecting you, let them come to you. I think that the Minister of Minister of Human Services, Vindy Prasad, says that the idea is to take the ministry's services to the people, especially those are the ones who are in the homes and things like that. If you can make it to us, we could come to you. So I think that they want to do it. So in the meantime, I think, let me just read one more here. Hello, I want to know when they would be sharing the 25,000 in the Saudi area region too. Saudi was not mentioned. It's supposed to be very shortly though, within a matter of days. My husband and son and his wife and children live at Hot and Cold Lake in Saudi on the Neiman Sand Pit. So we want to know if they would reach our home or we got to go somewhere to collect it. No, they come into your homes in the particular respective areas. So stay at home, or if you're not at home, make sure that your neighbors also call you so you could be able to go back or something. I know if you're working, it's going to be an issue, but you could always reach out to the NDC in that area there so they could be able to see how they could do it. So we go back. It's the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. Do we have another call there? Yes, good afternoon, caller, you in the air.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm okay. Just to follow up on two things somebody said before I get to my point. One, everybody's problem is important regardless how small, how frivolous, regardless under which government. So we should go down the road and say why they didn't complain then. They have this avenue now, so they use it. Secondly, the person talked about the street in Newtown there. I go through there every night, and when you reach by Ghana Street and Republic Street, there's a big hole there. That's not my problem. Government and whoever got to deal with it, I can't complain about it. The issue is they got a car dealership there. They park their vehicles, take up that whole road. They park it that people have to walk. There's a hole there. Then they got cancers parked there. Now, when you decide to go through there, the pedestrians coming and vehicles coming behind you, it's a nightmare for pedestrians and pedestrians. But I have a problem, serious problem with anybody opening a car dealership and taking over 3, 4 carpet lanes, not even in front of them, for their business. I have no problem with your business, but have a showroom and find a storeroom. You can't take over these places. And when you leave there now and go down to where Liberty used to be opposite, there's some kind of bar there that just walk every night. They don't follow the rules, and that's not my problem again. But they park vehicles all along there into passenger roads so they can go into there. Nobody cares, and police pass there regularly and says nothing and does nothing. Somehow the laws doesn't work for some people. But to my point that I want to make, I think one of your reporters, Shafima Day, highlighted 2 stories. So she did a very good article on it, with one young lady who was stalked and got killed, and another one who was being stalked and afraid and went to the police. And the police said that there's nothing they can do. This is foolish. Now, if this young lady said that every time she's going to drop her child off to daycare, this person is there to follow them, what the police supposed to do? What time you just go? We will have a patrol there to see what's going on. There's some things that the police can do. You can't always say that there's not laws. We're not going to wait for this young lady die too, and then the police say we don't have no laws. There's a complaint follow-up. There are things that police can do. I'll list for your comments off here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's a problem that we have with regards to, I'm not sure when, and Riaz, this thing has been, I want to use the word baffle, right? Very quickly as we come down to program time here. I want to use the word baffle. I'm baffled as to who exactly are the enforcers for COVID-19. If it is the police, I mean, you're passing there, the bars are open, people gathered there. Why would you not take actions? Or is it that there's a protection fee that's being offered or to the police or something? You hear all kinds of stories. But I'm baffled that you would be passing on a very busy road. Guyana Street and Vicenda Road, if you're familiar with it, where the Liberty Cinema, the older folks would know. And you're passing and you see all the vehicles there. And it's not only there, you go to Grove, you go to Providence, all over the place, all over the country. The police know, and why you're not doing anything?
The thing is that I have a two-way angle on this situation as it is. I understand business needs to go on a controlled environment. Fine. I'm not saying that yes to open, but my point, why is it that some are being allowed and some are not being granting those special privileges? So it have to be that the ones who are open are not hitting at them that they got to make money, their families, this, that, the whole, yes. But my simple point, why is it a few break it, a few can't? So it simply means that some strings are being pulled somewhere along the line. And that is where I am a little bit more concerned about, because, and you remember, Fancy Rum Shop gaff like about more than a month ago, and I still stand on that because I feel it for the small man. I feel it for those persons. They have not been working for ever so long. But rules and regulations have to be followed, just like how we're hearing that things have to be open. But I think it could happen in a controlled environment, but it must be a level playing field or no playing field at all.
Thank you very much for that. And so, of course, there's a big discussion going on the Facebook page here about books and so on.
I saw a couple of persons saying about reading, and I think Sciente Poleme Potes, knowledge is power. And you could read anything.
And
you could pick up a simple papers and read.
Of course.
All right? And I don't think that the pandemic has shown us that, and this is where some parents are going to feel, I'm being attacking. This is where it shows that parents were not paying attention to some of their children. Because now they're hustling and grabbling for things to read and things to do. What were you doing all the other times? Were you not paying attention to the homework? And I'm not attacking, but I'm just being bold as it could be. I think any child, if you're not being able to go to school, or I've noticed that the Ministry of Education doing something called blackboards now in communities, good initiative. In some communities they start that. But I think reading and read anything is a key. You know what I do in the nights to go to bed? Or if I sleep or it is, I will listen the news. The international news. I've been doing this for ever so long. I may leave it on BBC. I may leave it on Fox. I like
Al Jazeera. I like watching Al Jazeera.
I may leave it Al Jazeera. Rizkan is an inspiration. Right? And I may not look, but I'm listening. Why am I listening? Enunciations, pronunciation, pauses, commas, all. I'm listening. I've been doing that for many years. My mom comes in the room and my TV is on. I'm sure she's going to say this, you wasting current. I've heard it before. But I'm now saying I want someone to do what I did. But read. It helps. It helps in the process of learning.
Absolutely. And some people talk about Hardy Boys. Remember Asterix and so? Somebody talk about the Tintin there. Hardy Boys, Tintin, Asterix and so on. I used to get in trouble. My teacher sees a Hardy Boy for me and I was...
Still want it?
No, hold on. At QC.
You want
Miss McPherson, how you doing there? And I think she was at... Yeah. Hold on. I was contemplating. I would never said that, but I guess when I'm writing my book in the older days, I wanted to break into the staff room to get back my book that she stole from me. I thought that she seized it, right? Because I was reading in the class.
Do not think what Gildarie.
No. I was thinking, that was how bad I was. I was reading so much that I just seized it while I was reading during the class, and it didn't belong to me. And so the guy was there, what happened to my book? And I said, the teacher got it. And I was going by the classroom and see where she is, and I know she got it on her desk. And I wanted to break into the class, to the staff room, right? But I'm looking at the teacher and said, God, but I wasn't that brave. But looking back now,
you want to go and read out.
I want to do it now. So Miss McPherson, I want you to know that what you did to me at that point in time, I still hold it against you, but I love you a lot.
Kids, do not be like Gildarie and think to
no, don't do that. That's
you
me
very
talking,
much.
and I love that lady. Okay. So very quickly, a couple of messages here. Hi, good afternoon, sir. Just inform you that on the Escobar Coast, there is no insulin for diabetes patient a while now. And it's difficult to pay $2,000, $4,000 a bottle. See what you can do for us. Thank you very much. This is insulin on the Escobar Coast. Insulin, Escobar Coast.
I wonder if our dear friend is listening to us. He knows himself. He's close by to the Ministry of Health. He could advise them probably.
Thank you very much. I happen to know who that person is.
Yes, and I think that dear friend is locked in. So, sir, can you look into it, please?
Yes. Good afternoon. We just received a message that salary for public servant region 6 is still next week. How can we go without money? And it's the 2nd of November. Is that right?
I saw a release by Bishop Wanedgel.
They have some issues.
Yes, I saw a release. I'll be honest, I only read the headlines or 2 lines. I didn't go in depth of it. But what I could gather from the little piece is that they were having some issues in the Ministry of Finance, and they were asking everyone to
It's difficult when people live day to day, so I understand exactly
I understand,
what
but as you bring that up, I recall seeing this. I think it's over the weekend or something late last week.
Over the weekend.
Somewhere. But I understand to reply to the person, but I saw it. I didn't read the article in depth, but that is the gist of what the minister was saying.
Thank you very much for that. So, hi, good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. I'm enjoying your program. This message coming from Candy from Chansey New Scream. I think Chansey New Scream. Where's Chansey New Scream?
Fancy new scheme. I'm not sure of that one actually.
Right. So let me see a couple of messages here. You know, these I'm stressing out. Let me see. This is the courts. The people are on the east bank of Demerara and exhort the courts and Diamond there. A bunch of dirty people down there. The people are saying that I'm stressed out because I live not too far and the dogs bring all the trash on my bridge and it stinks. Thanks a lot. I listen to your program every day. Keep up the good work. So the folks around by the courts area, I'm not sure they have cameras there. What's happening? Courts on the East Bank, the Diamond there. What are you guys doing? Dirty set of people. You guys need to be a little better than that. Do a little better than that. Good afternoon, sir. I'm listening to you from the Supernam Creek. A good day to the folks down in Supernam Creek. Whatever it is that you're doing, much love here from Kaieteur Radio. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie, with all that complaint about the police harassing some bus driver. That's so true. The police don't harass the hot plate bus with loud music. And the hot plate bus is not a hot plate. It simply means that it's put passengers who sit down behind the driver, facing the other passengers in the bus. That's a hot plate. So I know what it is. So you guys can't fool me on that. I've been there, done that. I used to travel in minibuses too. It's been a little while.
Boom bus.
I'm not sure. I had
You used to
people
travel in boom
that
bus going up.
no, I didn't have the time for that. I wanted to get home.
Alright.
My mom was a little funny. I used to have to go home and do work and things like that. Sweep the whole yard. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Latoya Adolphus. I work at Tushan Primary School as a secretary from last year to December. From last year, September to December, I have not received any salary to this day, and it became very alarming after going to Region 3 personnel officer. From time to time, I go out there to find out my salary. They say to me, TSC haven't sent back anything as yet. And 1 year, 1 month I'm here, and I'd be grateful if you can help me in anticipation. I'm going to send this to myself. Let me see if I could do this. All right, I'm going to have to send this to myself and send this to the minister, and maybe they could get on back to you with regards to that. So in the meantime, it's coming down to program time. It's 2:56 in the afternoon. It's been a pleasure on the Wake Up Guyana show here with your host, Leonard Gildarie. Join us in the studio here. WR, he has been coming in and out. Some days he's not very consistent, but always a very good friend, always a good person, easy person to talk to.
I've already I beat the arrest line today actually.
Yeah. So I'm not sure whether I could get away from that, but Mr. Lal is very, very
No, but they're
passionate.
very passionate about oil, and I think the nation need to be more educated about it so that we could understand the bigger picture of this, that how it could impact on a positive note for all Guyanese in the end.
Thank you very much for that. So we will be back tomorrow as normal, same place, same time. This is the Wake Up Guyana show. If you've missed us, we are on Facebook, Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. So have a pleasant rest of the afternoon as usual. It's been a pleasure as we evolve this show, as we improve it. It's all about you. It's not about us. So have a pleasant rest of the day until.
COVID-19 tips sponsored by Dex Soap. 1. Practice social distancing. 2. Wear your mask when leaving the house. 3. Wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds using our Dex Soap. 4. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flex elbow when you cough or sneeze. Choose Dex Soap for that extra cleanliness. Dex Soap is affordable and available nationwide.